just shovel that kibble.
Do you think I'm ambitious?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh.
I always think that curiosity is the best dance. But they're all like, just to eat more vegetables. And I'm like, that's all I do. I just want to sort screws.
I'm Hank Green.
I'm Simone Giertz.
And this is Ask Hank Anything. Hello, I'm Hank Green, and I love questions, so I've created a whole show about questions. Guests ask me questions that I get to learn more about in order to answer their questions. Then the best part, I get to talk to them about those questions, and I get to learn about them through their own curiosities, which I think is one of the things that makes us into humans. Today we have inventor, YouTuber, founder of Giertz Studio. It's Simone Giertz. Hello.
Hi.
I always love seeing you.
It's so good to see you,
Yeah.
not just through a screen.
How are you? You have a question?
I'm good. I have a question for you.
Okay. Well, but not one of those. A new one.
No, I have a new one.
Great.
A fresh one. Do you know that you're sitting on apple boxes?
Am I sitting on apple boxes? What do you mean?
Do you know why you're sitting on apple boxes?
I don't know. I don't even know what you mean. Is the chair on apple boxes?
Your team put a bunch of apple boxes under this cushion and hid it with a blanket because I brought my own chair and it was too tall. Uh-huh. So I would like sit and tower over you and they're like, no, we need to
we need to prop him up.
We need to give him a booster seat.
Look, I can be any size and I'm fine. You can be bigger, I could be bigger, whatever. Well, they're making the cameras do what the cameras need to do. Uh-huh. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I did not know that I was sitting on apple boxes.
I just thought it was funny.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
In the film world, I learned about this. In the world of making content, there's these things called apple boxes, which used to, I assume, be actual apple boxes, but tend to be a standard size. And oftentimes, if you're watching a show, one of the people is standing on an apple box just so they'll be more similar heighted.
And they're like weirdly expensive.
They're very solidly made now.
Yeah.
And then they now come in many different thicknesses.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they used to just be the one apple box size. But these ones are like, just like 3 inches.
Yeah. Well,
I'll put
that's
my
what
hand
it
on
took
it.
for me to not.
I'm not going to take it out because they worked really hard.
Yeah.
I'll just sit up.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can also push
But yeah, we usually do it on a couch, but we're not doing it on a couch because we have this amazing chair that we brought in for you. No, you brought it in for us.
I was telling people that it's actually in my rider that I need to sit on my own chair.
Chair.
I won't just sit on any chair. I have to sit on my special chair.
That's a good weird one. People are always like, what's in your rider? And I'm like, literally, I need there to be some food that isn't like fancy LA food.
Yeah.
I need you to have some like M&Ms. I need to have some chips.
Yeah.
Like not just weird Erewhon pickles. That's what's in my rider.
I request seaweed snacks.
See? You're the opposite of me.
I know, maybe. I'm like, I need this one weird snack.
I need it from the ocean, like a fish.
Straight. I need it dried by a PA and seasoned by an executive producer.
So this is the laundry chair.
You want to talk about it now?
Yeah,
you want to do it at the top?
Well,
yeah.
I feel like we're halfway through already.
Okay.
It's beautifully done. Oh,
Yeah.
It spins without you spinning.
So you can put your laundry on it. I think I have a shirt here. I can't take any clothes off without becoming indecent. We're doing Home Shoppers Network full on here. Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Okay. So
nice
instead of having your shirt
pile of clothes chair.
Yeah, you can hang it on your chair and then
It's back
hide
there.
away the mess.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Great.
I'm in favor of it.
I appreciate that.
It must be terrifying to make a chair.
It's not terrifying to make the first chair. Like, the first version of it was not terrifying.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Exactly.
frustrating maybe, but not terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying to manufacture a chair and buy a bunch of stock that might end up costing you thousands and thousands of dollars in storage fees if people decide that they don't want it.
And also, like, you can't make, like, a bunch of different chairs.
Yeah.
You have to make the best one. You have to pick the good-looking, functional, comfortable chair.
And it's always going to be a compromise because it's
There's
like,
always
I
some
wish
kind of
we could have
compromise.
like 10 different colors, but we had to pick just one
pick
color.
one color.
And it's green.
Yeah,
And
it looks very nice.
Thank
Looks
you.
great with your shirt.
I just assembled it in my workshop today.
Oh.
So yeah, it's debut.
And then you put it in a U-Haul and brought it over?
Yeah, in my car.
Okay, or just the car.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a thing that the people can have?
Yeah, we're selling them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're just releasing them as a product at Yacht Studio, which is crazy. So
I just bought a couple of things from Yacht Studio myself.
Why did you buy it?
Girl,
just text me.
Oh my God, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm buying a present for my wife. I'm not going to just text a friend for it.
But it's like, I realized that one of the core reasons I love having a product business is because I love giving people things. And it's just, I like being able to be like, oh, I can send this to you. It's just the nicest feeling.
My son and I actually had a really lovely conversation about it.
Yeah.
So I said to him, Oren, you know how when we do a puzzle, there are two kinds of pieces. There's the edge pieces and there's the inside pieces. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, how would you make a puzzle that only has one kind of piece? And he thought about it for a little while and he said, well, you would make the outside pieces have the nubs. And I was like, yeah, that's totally one way you would do it. What's another way you would do it? And then he thought about it for a long time and he was like, I don't know another way that I would do it. And I was like, what if you wanted all the pieces to be edge pieces? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, I want you to go to the mudroom and I want you to get the package that just came in. And we talked about how you would make a puzzle just with edges. And he thought it was so smart. And we talked about how you would sort out the pieces that weren't, because when you cut the thing, it would create pieces that aren't going to go in the final box. So how would you separate those out? And he said that you would paint them a different color and have a machine that could see that color and it would pick out the ones that had that color.
Oh, that's smart.
And I was like, that's a good idea. But probably what they did is they just made those pieces really big and then they could size sort them with a size sorting machine. And then we watched YouTube videos of size sorting machines.
I can't believe that you managed to turn that into an educational moment. It is
and I was
impressive.
like, my friend is such a genius. She figured out how to make a puzzle with just edges.
That's very sweet. And honestly, getting the big middle pieces out is a pain. And
is it?
We've had, because it's a manual process.
Yeah.
They actually have to pick them out. So when we design
them. And what's
them,
the border like? Does the border go in to it? Because there are some areas.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So we were trying to limit it to like maybe 5 throwaway pieces because otherwise it's just so much. And we want them to kind of be big sections.
Easy to grab.
But the issue is that creates an opportunity for other pieces to disappear as well. So we've had some customers who have received incomplete puzzles and then we have to go and find, okay, here's your replacement puzzle. Yeah. I did do an incomplete puzzle, but that was intentionally incomplete. Yes. The unintentionally incomplete ones are not. No. Well, that's really sweet. Which one did you get the ant one? Oh. You're so nice. Thank you. The river one is very difficult. Beware.
It looks hard.
It is hard.
like a hard puzzle, though. You send me questions that are actual questions, and thank you for answering my question about how you sort out the puzzle pieces. Ask me a question.
Okay. I don't remember the questions I wrote.
No, that is often how it goes.
Good one, yeah. Do our pets just have Stockholm Syndrome?
No.
Really?
Yeah, so as far as dogs go in particular, I think that cats definitely don't because cats kind of feel like they don't care that much. It's not like they're like super falling in love with you.
But I mean, that's the reason, I mean, I've been thinking about this because I'm like, it's kind of a messed up power dynamic where it's like, yeah, I love my dog, but I'm also the one who tells her when she's allowed to go outside. I put her on a leash. I control her food. Yeah. Like, it's a very imbalanced power dynamic. I feel a lot better about the relationship that I have with my stray cat that showed up and who's indoor-outdoor. Yeah. Because if our relationship doesn't suit her,
she's gone.
She's gone.
She can just go off on some other situation.
With that said, I don't think that my dog would be gone if, like she wouldn't.
If she left, she'd be very sad and confused and sad and scared.
But also, we've bred them to love us. Like, can you imagine if you felt like your wife was like, actually, I genetically engineered you to love me?
So I'm not genetically engineered to love Catherine, but I am genetically selected to love a person.
That's true.
So that has been selected
Which is lucky because some people don't seem to be drawn towards other things. Like bridges and stuff.
I didn't know about that one.
Like people who fall in love with inanimate objects.
Yeah, well, I was thinking like Bigfoot fetishes.
Yeah, I think
it sucks to have a fetish for something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh no, it's very sad. It's like the whale that sings on a different frequency from all the other whales.
It's like, no one is here. They don't speak my words.
Okay, sorry.
Just like that. So we know is that stray dogs will adopt people just like stray cats will adopt people. So we don't have this as much, but there's lots of places where dogs are kind of out and around and don't have people.
Yeah.
And in those places, those dogs, they can form relationships with the people who live around, and they start to prefer some people to other people. And then sometimes those dogs end up living more full-time or even totally full-time with those people in the same way that cats do. So you are right that we have bred them to like us, but it seems that we have well and truly bred them to like us. Like they like us and they like to live with us.
Yeah.
But that's artificial selection in the same way that like natural selection has selected us to, fall in love with each other as humans. And I don't know how we ended up also loving dogs, but we sure do.
We do.
Maybe we got Stockholm Syndrome by then. They're like, I'm gonna evolve to have these big, cute eyes and to be really sweet and soft.
I mean, they have.
Yeah.
I mean, they've evolved to read our emotions and know.
Do you know
when
that
we're
wolves
sad.
don't have eyebrows? They don't have eyebrow muscles.
Really?
And dogs have evolved to have eyebrow muscles so that they can have more expressive faces.
Treats.
Yeah. So they can be like, they can make that face.
Okay.
Amazing. But I have more to talk to you about here. So you're from Stockholm.
Yes.
Do you know the full Stockholm Syndrome story and how Stockholm Syndrome might kind of not be a thing?
I heard that it's kind of been like not clinically debunked, but that the interpretation of the situation was more people, but also I don't want to. No, I have not.
No, I am curious.
Yeah. No, but there was a bank robbery. People were held hostage.
Yes.
The hostages kind of played nice with the hostages.
So the real weird twist here that I had never heard until I was looking into this is that the guy who went into the bank and got the hostages, nobody liked him.
Okay.
One of the things he demanded was for another criminal to be released, who was his former cellmate, who he thought was like a really genius criminal, to be released and like taken to him. And then there would be two criminals because he needed like help doing his crime. He'd kind of backed himself into a corner. They were like, bring me my old cellmate. And so they brought this second guy. And the second guy was like very chill and supportive of everybody. He really calmed things down. He was like trying to fix the situation.
It's like the emotional support cellmate.
He did not. Apparently, it's not entirely clear, but probably he had no idea that this was ever going to happen. They hadn't like planned this in advance. He wasn't like, hey, when you get out, do a bank robbery and get me out. But it was all very unclear at the time. And so he seems to have like come in and tried to calm things down. And like the people who were hostages liked him. And that's very different from like the guy who came in and made your life very bad and started using you as a bargaining chip.
This was the like unassuming third party that came in, like the mediator kind of.
But like at the time it was assumed that these two were in cahoots with each other. And that he had been like, hey, when you get out, get me out. It's still unclear, of course, because like, how did this all go down? The criminals don't love to tell the truth. But also in this case, it seemed that the person who is often said to have had Stockholm Syndrome, she just did not like the way that the police were handling the situation. And there were several things that happened that you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense that she would feel that way.
Hello, it's Future Hank. The case that gave the world Stockholm Syndrome was the 1973 Norrmalmstorg bank siege in Stockholm, where Jan Erik Olsen held 4 bank employees hostage for 6 days. During the standoff, hostage Kristen Enmark stunned the public by telling the Prime Minister over the phone that she feared the police more than the gunmen and wanted the authorities to stop escalating the situation. After the siege ended, a police advisor coined the label that became Stockholm Syndrome and applied it to the hostages, even though he had not actually interviewed Enmark herself. But as past Hank was saying, Enmark's lack of sympathy for police was not especially mysterious. Early in the siege, police misidentified the robber and then sent in the supposed criminal's 16-year-old brother, who turned out to be a complete stranger to the actual criminal, and the 16-year-old was nearly shot when the plan went wrong. Later, the police drilled into the vault and prepared a tear gas assault while the hostages were trapped inside, and Enmark said that by then, it was the police she was afraid of because she thought their intervention might get everyone killed. So we find the defining case for Stockholm Syndrome is a lot messier than the pop culture version. A reasonable reading is not that Enmark irrationally fell in love with her captors, but that she was trying to survive a catastrophe in which the authorities outside did not look reliably safer than the men with the guns inside. And that helps explain why many later critics have treated this origin story skeptically and why Stockholm Syndrome has never been an official diagnosis or anything. Thanks for your time. I'm glad I could clarify. Also, this video is brought to you by Mint Mobile. It's time to stop overpaying for wireless just because that's how it's always been. Mint exists to fix exactly that. They're offering premium wireless without the premium price tag. Mint knows affordability is on everyone's mind, and they're here to help with their premium wireless plans starting as low as $15 a month. Is that what you're paying? You're probably paying more. Multiply that by 12, that's how much you pay in a year. They're also offering bulk buying, meaning the more months you buy up front, the more you save. Plans come in 3, 6, and 12-month durations, and you'll be receiving coverage from the nation's largest 5G network. When it comes to data, one size doesn't necessarily fit all, and Mint doesn't believe you should overpay for something that isn't the right fit for you. Instead, you could choose between 5 gigabytes, 15 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, or unlimited data each month. Switching is easy. You could sign up and activate in minutes with eSIM from the comfort of your own home. You're welcome to bring your own unlocked phone or shop all the latest phones with Mint. We have some Mint Mobile customers working at Complexly, including our Chief Creative Officer, Caitlin Hoffmeister. We asked her how she's enjoying her service, and she said the following, quote, "My coverage is reliable even in fairly rural areas. The price has never gone up while they continue to offer me more, and I get a holiday card from Ryan Reynolds every year." Right now, Mint Mobile is offering a limited time promotion, a 3-month unlimited wireless plan for $15 a month, upfront payment of $45 for 3-month 5 gigabyte plan required. This equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/askhank and use code askhank at checkout. That's mintmobile.com/askhank.
So I was fascinated to find that out. What I often see is like very sort of simple versions of like, oh, Stockholm Syndrome isn't a real thing, but it's like actually in a much deeper way, maybe it's like both kind of a thing and that like everybody, if you spend time together, you start to see each other as humans.
Yeah.
So that's not really a syndrome. That's good, probably good.
Empathy.
Yeah. Also, the story is very complicated and weird and fun.
It is a lot of. I feel like that should be an entire
since everybody
podcast.
Was okay.
That seems like an entire true crime podcast worth of drama and plot twists.
Good drama.
Yeah.
I'm sure that somebody's done it.
But
Your
it might
questions,
be in Sweden.
man.
Yeah. What, really? Were they weird? Were they hard?
No, I mean, I don't think this one's next, but
there's one down the line.
Yeah, there's one coming.
What are the best and worst parts about being you?
Very wholesome. I thought about it a lot. It's not something that I tend to think about. I thought about it. I think that one of the best parts about being me is like feeling like I have agency in the world. And I'm like, I have choices. I can make decisions for myself, and that's nice. Sometimes I suddenly feel like I have less agency, and then that is not a good feeling.
Does that come from...
There's just a lot of responsibilities and obligations.
Like being a parent and employer?
Yeah. Yeah, the parent stuff doesn't bother me as much as like, oh boy, some former version of me got myself in a lot of work here, dealing with all of this work that we're all doing. But it's also very good work. And so if I can sort of get over that rocky bit, I usually am like, oh, actually, I do want to be doing all of this because you're great people and we're doing good stuff.
Yeah.
And then I also don't have to worry about money. That's a very good part. And like, it's like something that I wish for everybody, and I don't know how to get there for everybody. But it's just very nice. It's like when I got sick, like the first thought wasn't like, how are we going to deal with me not going to work? I could worry about other things and wouldn't have that on top of everything else. And then, but like as far as like me very specifically, the best part of being me is that I can get on the phone with so many cool people pretty easily. Like if I want to talk to somebody who like knows how to develop a cool or weird product, I can call you. If I want to talk to somebody who knows what it's like to like be a Swedish person who's also an American person, I can call you. If I want to get on the phone with somebody who knows what it's like to be a YouTuber who has to announce to their audience their serious medical circumstance, I can call you.
You did do that. That was very sweet. Yeah. That's like one of the nicest "can I ask you for advice" calls that I've ever gotten.
I feel like I called you and you were like, oh no.
Really?
Does he have cancer?
But it was such navigating that in a public setting is such a treacherous path. You okay?
I'm fine, yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry a little.
Yeah. And it's such a weird thing, and everybody reacts to medical news differently. And I feel like we're both very external processors of like the way we understand the world is to talk about it and to share it with other people. Yeah. And it's like, what does that mean when you have something that's like so private?
Yeah.
And so nobody's business, but at the same time, you really want to share it because you want to understand what's going on. And well,
and also like you like just vanishing. When like with me, I had such a personal relationship for so long with my audience.
Yeah.
It was like not an option to be like, I'm just gonna like be bald or disappear.
Yeah.
You know?
How do you feel in retrospect that you sharing it publicly did? Like,
I feel
do you
great
feel
about
good
it.
about it?
Yeah. I feel great about it, especially because I get so much feedback from people who are like, when I was diagnosed, I'd already watched you go through it. And so I was less scared, or I knew that I could like just sort of like watch those videos again. And then also, even without the video stuff, just sort of tweeting through it, which I've tweeted through my whole life. But tweeting through it was very, I think, helpful for people to sort of like have it not be behind the dark curtain, you know?
I feel like a lot of like nice things that people say to you on the internet can so easily be brushed off.
Yeah.
Those messages of like somebody being like, hey, I was also diagnosed with a brain tumor and I watched your videos and I feel better now. Like those just hit all the spots.
Yeah.
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 There's nothing of like,
I did a cancer fundraiser comedy show last night with Grace Helbig.
Yeah.
And so many different people, like, and I didn't even see that many people as I was like backstage the whole time, but like in the parking garage, I saw people and they were like telling me the thing that they went through, and like people who are like diagnosed at the same time as me, you know, so they're like going through the process with me.
And you're
almost.
like, who won?
Yeah.
Did you beat me?
How's it
Did
going?
you get better?
Did you cancer better than I did? Yeah.
But which is also a double-edged sword, because I remember, especially when I was going through my illness, and you know, and you're like trying to live your life and think about other things, and people would come up to me and be like, hey, my uncle died of brain cancer. And I'm like, ma'am, I'm so sorry about your uncle. I'm just trying to buy some granola. Like, it's really...
That's not it.
Yeah, that's not, you know, I know we're not strangers to you, but to me we are.
Yeah.
And this is like very intense right now.
Yeah.
But majority of it is just such a sweet experience. But I think that is also because you have such an incredible amount of goodwill towards you on the internet.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, I can go back and read my like DMs from that time, and it's just sort of a museum is a weird word to use, but like a museum of my relationships, because I've been at it for so long.
Did you sometimes watch the videos you made around the cancer time?
Especially, I'm working on a book about it, so I like it's part
Your
of
interview
research.
for the book about it. Yeah. Because I notice I sometimes go back and watch the like videos I made about having a brain tumor, because it's somehow, I don't know, it's like reading a journal entry, and it's kind of become a part of the process of it, of just being like, oh, how was that like? And then I'll cry a little bit with past self.
Yeah.
And then I'll be fine.
I mean, it's not a great reflection of exactly how I was feeling at every moment.
Yeah.
But I can sometimes kind of get in my head and like imagine that it was different than it actually was, you know, 2 years ago now. And then if I watch those videos, I'm like, well, it wasn't always the way that I'm thinking of it. Like I'm mostly thinking of like the worst, hardest, most painful, most uncomfortable times or scariest times. And I'm not thinking about like, you know, the goofs that I goofed while I was at it, which was a lot of it. So, worst parts.
Wait, okay, because I have some theories. No, I'm just kidding. But wait, can we just recap that the best parts of being you was basically being rich and famous?
Well, I don't know that famous is it. Well, I don't know though.
Well-connected.
Like well connected. There's something really good about that, and it can be in a lot of fields. It can be a later career thing where suddenly you're like, oh, I can get on the phone with the guy who wrote that paper, and we can talk through this thing that I'm working on.
Also, being in a bookstore and seeing multiple friends' books on the shelves is such a wild feeling.
Yeah.
And I like to think of like both money and fame as life lube, because it just makes everything go easier.
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't have to, you can just, money can solve a lot of things, and being well-connected can solve a lot of things. And that's really, it's a great tool. It's not a great end goal, but it's a great
absolutely.
tool.
Of that.
Worst part about being you?
Obligation. I just feel because I have all these tools, I feel the need and the requirement and the responsibility to apply them to problems that I think that are either important or interesting.
You seem very burdened by wanting to be a good person.
Oh, well, is that a burden?
Yeah. I mean, some people are seemingly very unburdened by it. It's not something that they think about at all.
Well, but I wouldn't have said it, but I do think that regardless of comparing me to others, I do hold that responsibility.
So diplomatic.
I do. That weight weighs Heavily.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, if you feel like something you could do could impact the world in such a way where it would help a huge number of people, or even like a large number of people, even like 10 or 100 people, you know, even like the people who work for a company that I started, then why would I put any weight behind like going out with a friend or planning a fun night for my family or something?
I feel like for me, it's like that thought reaches a certain point in me, but I'm embarrassed by how little time and effort I spend in like spreading my privilege, which sounded way dirtier than it should have. No, but it's like not granted, I don't have like a tremendous amount of money or anything, but I'm like, I'm now the powerful person. What am I doing? And it's like, I take great care of my employees. I think I take good care of the people I love, but I'm not like on a mission in the same way as you are, where it's like you feel like you're really putting that shame to work, the privilege shame to work.
Yeah. You're like, what do I feel here? There isn't like a way to get to a fair, just world.
Yeah.
There's this idea, like, could I ever deserve what I have? And the answer is no. Like, there's no way to deserve what I have. And so it has to be like, okay, well, when and if power concentrates, what will you do with it? And like, people really disagree with me. And other people do different things. And some people think that I'm doing the wrong things. I just have to like make the choice that I feel like I would make. And it can be very stressful.
I really think that you use your power very wisely.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm very...
But people will disagree.
No, but it's like
but it means a lot.
You're a very thoughtful wielder of influence.
Yeah, and I've seen others, and I always do like to call it out in the people who do it good.
Yeah.
I am envious of you or like impressed by the focus of your ambitions.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think I'm ambitious?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Oh.
I feel like I am...
I'm looking over to a loved one of yours to see how they're feeling about your answer.
Do you think I'm ambitious?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's good.
I once said to a kind of mentor, I said, you know, I was just started making YouTube videos and here I am. And he was like, bullshit. I smell that one a mile away. This didn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about every YouTuber, but including you.
Thing is, well, thank you.
And especially because you're not just like YouTubing. Like you make beautiful videos about making amazing or alarming or useful things.
Very sweet. The thing is, I used to be so much more ambitious. Like I used to really want to go hard and push myself really hard. But then after my illness, I became so soft with myself. And it turns out that that is also a very viable strategy. I think that's the thing. Like I don't overextend myself at all. I work maybe 6 hours a day and I'll call it early if I want to. But I'm also very intentional with how I spend my time and what I want to do and the future that I want to build. But I'm not like, I mean, for the product business, it's like kind of the main focus for me now. The goal is just to make it successful enough that I can keep on doing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to like make the next IKEA, and it's just like for people to be happy, the people who work for me to be happy and feel creatively fulfilled, for me to be creatively fulfilled and proud of the products I put out. And I guess that's ambition as well. Like I'm very ambitious in wanting to have a good life, but I don't feel terribly ambitious anymore and like I want to like be famous or super rich or super respected. And
I think that there needs to be more light shown upon the fact that that is most of the ambition out there.
Yeah.
Like the people that we focus on and we look at and we think about, all of those people are like, how much power can I get? And when I get more, I will use it to get more power. But most ambition is, you know, like, what if we started a restaurant? Most ambition is like, what if there was a tool that would help in elder care during these specific circumstances and we made it available at a reasonable price and had a team of people working well on that project?
Yeah, that's nice. I feel like we don't celebrate.
Most of what's going on. Sometimes I talk to people who are running businesses and they're like, well, I don't like to think of myself as a business person because that term has been co-opted by like the Silicon Valley version of that, where business is about creating a moat so thick that you become an oligarch.
Yeah, because also in capitalism, we focus on value captured rather than value created.
Yeah.
And I think that in people being very ambitious and wanting to create value, but not necessarily in capturing value.
Yeah.
And that flies under the radar more.
One of my favorite things is to create more value than you capture. That's like, if you can figure out how to do that, you can create something really kind of comfortable.
Just value out. And when you get value in, you're like, hey, everybody, take this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we got to talk about that.
Okay. Also, I have not fully appreciated the It's so good. Yeah. Oh, this is a long one. I wonder if this is the one you're worried about. I have a hard time gauging how worried I should be about things. For my health, I'm worried about stress, sugar intake, PFAS, microplastics, not working out enough, air pollution in LA, ultra-processed foods. And for the global future, I'm worried about population decline, AI, misinformation, the rise of fascism, global warming. How do I rank my worries?
So I'm gonna do two different things with you. First, we're gonna take your health. And that I feel like I can actually say some things about having done some research on it. So I ranked them.
Yes.
And I ranked them in two ways. One, by the confidence that we have in the sort of literature that the effect exists. And two, how large the effect is. And so for high confidence, high impact, we have physical activity and eating healthy. So I'm not saying ultra-processed food specifically there. I'm saying in general, you probably know what I mean when I say eating healthy. So physical activity, like what we see is people who walk a lot and also people who lift heavy things have like much better health spans. And it's like, okay. Like, it's like so clear in data. The effect is so much bigger than everything else you're doing, including food. Like really physical activity is like, I mean, you can eat yourself into a bad place, but like mostly if you're physically active, you're in a really like better spot than almost anybody.
Yeah, but okay, but that's the hardest thing to do on the list. So can we find something else?
Well, I don't know how, obviously like the gym and like weight training is like, that feels like work. It feels like it's hard to do well at home. You have to make sure not to hurt yourself. You have to learn how to do it well, especially at my age. But I mean, really, like just going on a walk, if you could do it every day, it's so good for you. You live in a sunny place.
Yeah, I have 2 dogs.
You have 2 dogs? No, you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
This is why dogs are good for you, because they get you out.
That's really, that was one of the reasons I wanted to get a dog as well, because I'm like, our overlap of needs is really big. And look, taking care of you will also take care of me.
That's right.
Only that. I did it as a selfish thing.
Yeah, so it's the food too.
Yeah.
Just shovel that kibble.
Yeah, that was great. Also, I don't eat that, but I'll try it. I started doing CrossFit, and the other week, I was able to do 1 push-up.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to know the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life? I started doing CrossFit during radiation therapy.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I mean, started. I went to 1 class and I was like, that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But it was a huge mistake.
When you're in recovery from something like that, my mom says it's like borrowing money from the mob.
Yeah.
Because if you overstep
really
or don't take a little bit too much out, you're gonna pay tenfold back.
Well, the thing is, I felt the best I had in a long time because chemo hit so hard that like the 3rd week out of chemo, I was like, I'm on top of the world. And I was still in radiation therapy, but radiation like is cumulative, where in the beginning it doesn't affect you much, but then it like builds up and is worse, you've done it.
Very sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay, so workout.
Yeah, so those,
eat
so yes, eat well. And you missed some in the high impact, high confidence category.
Sleeping.
Yes.
Sleep so much, so I'm not worried about that.
Good job. So you're just not worried about it because you're doing it.
It's one of my main talents.
Another one is sort of like really well studied and pretty high impact is alcohol. So moderation in alcohol, ideally not.
Well, I won't be drinking this anymore.
Less than 1 drink a day
on
average is very good. And then we have things that are in the high confidence medium impact, which I would be less worried about, but we know air pollution is a thing that can have health impacts, especially as you age. And the other one of those is stress. So stress is a big deal, but it sounds like you have a pretty good handle on your stress.
I'm doing good now.
Yeah.
I notice when I get stressed, I start stimming.
Oh, I have mental,
weird tics.
like I have mental tics.
Really?
Yeah, that like tell me I'm stressed.
Yeah. No, I just start like my neck starts creaking, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta.
Yeah, I have like weird
go to the park.
thought triggers that like I just think about certain things, and I'm like, that's my stress thought.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's not like an upsetting thought, but it is like the one that I go to. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it will sound upsetting to you, but it's not upsetting to me. And then the things that are left on your list: microplastics and PFAS, and then also ultra-processed foods more generally. We don't have great confidence. We don't think that the effects are huge. So in comparison to things that we actually know quite well, the effects pop out more easily than they have with those things. Though those are hard things to study because like food is especially hard to study, but also like everybody's got microplastics, everybody's got PFAS exposure, but like we're not doing terribly right now.
Yeah.
Like we are, like people think that like we're the unhealthiest we've ever been, but we're not. We're pretty healthy.
I'm thinking that also if it was that bad, like we would have seen significant effects right now.
Yeah, like smoking has had like a much more obvious impact that people could tease out fairly easily though that conversation got dragged on for a long time, but mostly for like political reasons. And then there's a last thing on the category, which may not be for you, but it's for people in general. Things that your doctor has identified as problems for you specifically. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, those things are going to be a bigger deal than pretty much anything else on the list.
I have high cholesterol.
Okay. Yeah,
which is wild because I'm vegan and I work out and I don't drink much.
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, they have drugs for it if you have to do that. And those are good.
But they're all like, just eat more vegetables. And I'm like, bitch, that's all I do. Come on. Stop smoking. I don't smoke.
They're like, we can tell from your blood that you're lying.
There's something.
No.
This is your fault.
And then you had the whole list of like things you want to be worried about in the world.
Sorry.
I just don't know. So what I brought is I put them on a card. And we should rank them together.
Yeah, okay.
So we have global warming, we have AI stuff, we have the rise of fascism, we have population decline, and what I call epistemic collapse.
What does that mean?
That means truth doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah.
What should we start with? Where would we put things? Do we want to start at the bottom?
I mean, I would kind of put these, not really. Yeah, stop at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing is, like, I'm immediately thinking, like, population decline. But that is the big concern.
It's a big concern. Here's what I think about population decline. Here was why I would argue that it doesn't deserve to be at the top, is because it's going to be relatively gradual.
Yeah.
And thus there will be opportunities to look at it and engage in it. And then the other thing is, I have experienced a world where we were really worried about population and we probably shouldn't have been worried about it. We were just worried in the other direction. So I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like I'm worried about like social services being funded, but I kind of feel like there will be money out there. We'll probably just have to find new ways of getting that money because there's a lot of money out there.
Yeah.
We just got to get it out of the guys who got it.
I also think it's hard to tell. I feel like this is such like manosphere.
Right.
Because it's like,
I really would like the nuanced version of this. There's a great book, I can't remember what it's called, but it's by Jennifer Sciubba, who may not be pronounced that way, Sciubba.
They'll put text on screen.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot, and it like came out before this all happened, but it is about that topic, and I read it, and it was like, wow, this seems to be an area of concern that probably a bunch of minds, when put together, will figure out what to do about it. In terms of the sort of direct effects of not having as many young people to take care of the older people. But in terms of like, will like humanity extinct itself through not having babies? I just don't think so.
No.
I think that there will be new social structures that will, there's cultures that result in there being more babies born. There will be more people in those cultures.
I mean, I think because population decline, the issue, a lot of it has to do with a labor-centric society where it's like the main input into a society is the labor that you produce.
Yeah.
But if we
there's
change
a different
that,
kind of society,
which this other problem might help with,
might be a part of, she pointed at the AI one.
Then having a bunch of old people that need care might not be an issue.
And I don't know. Like what I'll say is like this one in particular, I feel like goes very low on the confidence interval no matter where I put it, because I'm like, everybody disagrees about AI stuff and I have no idea what it will mean.
I'm incredibly concerned about the way it concentrates power.
Yes. I feel like people don't talk about that one. So like, who defines reality? Is it one of 3 guys?
Yeah.
And 2 of them I know quite a bit about and I don't trust them. And the third one I know nothing about.
Yeah, it's both. It's putting a very few people in control of who defines reality and who makes money. Yeah. And having the same people in control of those 2 things feels like terrifying.
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah.
But I also actually don't have any confidence that that's going to go the way those guys think it's going to go. I think they absolutely could be building a house of cards that will collapse and they will become pariahs and everyone will hate them forever.
But I feel like it's interesting because I feel like all of these relate so much because the rise of fascism has to do with the epistemic collapse and that has to do with the AI stuff.
Especially the AI stuff that isn't the AI stuff. It has to do with the AI stuff that we live in and have had for over a decade now, recommendation algorithms. Yeah. Which is a real world that has treated me kindly.
Except it's treated me very kindly.
But these do feel very, epistemic collapse and rise of fascism feel very similar to each other.
Yeah.
I think that this one is fairly independent of the others, though certainly is not helped by any of these.
I think, but
is the one I'm most worried about.
Yeah. I think that global warming does, though, in like the refugees and crises that it will cause and is causing will also help the rise of fascism.
Yeah.
Because...
And the rise of fascism fascism does not help anybody because it is a nationalizing force. It is less of a globalizing force. It does not help with a global problem.
I heard something pretty cheery, which is about that, like, the main thing we will go towards green power is just because it's going to be cheaper. Like, it's
going to be cheaper, and also it gives a lot of countries freedom that they don't otherwise have.
Yeah.
So green power is actually something that any country can kind of make, whereas fossil fuels are in specific places.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be like a very different world in terms of power dynamics when suddenly like petrostates don't get to be as powerful because like their product isn't as useful.
Yeah, I really think that the branding around it is going to change, and that is wild that is. I mean, it's like the same with like electric vehicles, as much as they're a solution, but also a cause of other problems. They were marketed as for women in the like hundreds of years or 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they were easier to maintain.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, the gas vehicles are for men. And that just like shot
They really
electric vehicle in the vehicles in the foot.
Interesting.
And then it being like, oh, this is like the more environmental thing. And now
Also
the way
shoots
that
it in the
electric,
foot.
and now the way that electric vehicles have actually gone is like, no, because they're actually pretty cool cars and they can go really fast.
They can go super fast.
So fast,
They were right. I mean, they were right about that. That is how they should be marketed. As much as an electric vehicle driver, I'm like, I do not care at all how fast this thing goes.
Yeah.
The thing that I do think that they should do is make them easier. Because as a Montanan, all the electric vehicles have those door handles that freeze shut and they're hard to get open.
Oh, no, don't.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Why is this a thing?
But I feel like that with global warming and with green or like renewable energy is also going to go through an equal, like, where it's like, no, this is actually the cheaper, more sensible option.
Right. It's all like market forces will be the thing that drives that. And you're like, great. Okay, I get it. The market, the incentives, great.
Yeah.
But I am very worried. It is like a very global problem. And the climate is not it cannot absorb infinite.
Yeah.
But I guess what we're finding here is all of your problems, the reason that this freaks you out so much is that they all lean on each other.
Yeah.
And it's like a big house of problems, and they reinforce.
I think global warming I'm most concerned about as well. And then the AI stuff, because it's the biggest unknown.
It's
like,
just
we
very unknown.
don't have a roadmap. Like the rise of fascism.
We've seen it happen before.
We've seen it happen before. We know what happened. The AI stuff is like such a black box and so unknown.
It's really
and
new.
it freaks me out.
It's not like anything else. I think of it often in terms of communications, in terms of media, because that's the sort of how I study the world. And it is very interesting as a media technology. And it is, if nothing else, the thing that makes it different from the internet, it is that it is centralizing.
Yeah.
So the internet has been decentralizing media, where anybody has access to the levers of access to information, can create, can consume however they want, whereas AI seems very centralizing. Now, it individualizes. Each person kind of gets their own. People don't realize this, I don't think, but like if you talk to ChatGPT a lot, it becomes your politics. It like absorbs your politics and like tells you the world the way that you see it, which is wild. So maybe it's decentralizing in that way.
But it's just going to make your echo chamber even smaller.
Yeah, it's like your echo chamber is you.
Yeah, it's just
like a mirror. You're like holding a mirror up to yourself and talking to it.
Yeah. Interesting times.
Interesting times. I really don't know, because I had no idea how the internet was going to go, and I still kind of don't, but I definitely didn't expect it to go this way.
I think in the face of uncertainty, I always think that curiosity is the best stance. Thank you.
We're just going to stay curious, everybody.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Sorry. I hope my next question was happier.
I don't think it is. I think it's the one I've been worried about.
This is somebody who's also very burdened about wanting to be a good person.
Yeah.
My next question for you is, are our jobs making us worse people? And I mean you and me specifically.
Oh, okay.
Or
not like everybody in their jobs, but we don't
can
need
do,
to talk
we can
about
do
that.
it everybody in their jobs.
Yeah, no, I don't think we should or could.
But I'm thinking, because I feel like as much as my job has a lot of benefits, it also, the things that fuel me to want to do it are sometimes character traits that I don't like. It's people pleasing, it's attention seeking, it's wanting people to be impressed by me,
Yeah, you really sort of put your finger on mine there.
Yeah.
I got all those.
Yeah, I got all those. This is kind of a trait. But at the same time, some of the best people I know are our colleagues.
Yeah.
Not you, but our colleagues. No, you're up there. You're one of the best people I know. But sometimes I'm like, is this feeding the beast?
Yeah. One of the things that my therapist once said to me was, Hank, just because something has led you to success doesn't mean that it isn't a problem.
Say that to Elon Musk.
Yeah. Which I'm like, but don't fix that part because I need this.
I need it, yeah.
I keep opening my notes. I don't have anything written for this question.
How do you feel, because I used to have so much shame about liking attention.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I'm definitely not the worst. But
you've seen worse out there.
I've seen worse out there. I mean, even though that's not impressive living in LA. But I used to have so much shame about it.
I've never had shame about it.
Yeah.
Like even as like a child.
Really, but I've had a lot of shame about it. I think it's also being Swedish and being raised Swedish because it's like, oh, you want to but then I'm like, I use the attention I get because I like making people laugh.
Yeah.
And I know I can put people at ease. And it's like at a party, I'm so happy to be the first person there because I can help manage and like the conversation at that awkward, we're 7 people here and it's kind of a little bit too big of a group to all have one conversation, but I can manage that.
Yeah.
And then I can go to bed at 9:30.
You got good skills and you want to use them well. That seems...
That's a nice way of putting it.
Well, I always think of myself as a shared resource. Like, I'm not just for me. And people will hear that and they'll be like, no, Hank. And I'm like, no, actually, if you think that that's a weird thing to say, I'm worried about the state of the world because, like, we share each other. Like, we are for each other. You know, like there's parts of me that's for me, but like honestly, not most of it.
Yeah, that's why Hank sends me his hair and he's like, eat it.
Yeah.
He takes it very literally.
No, every YouTuber gets a bunch.
Yeah.
Every time I get a haircut.
Yeah, I am for everybody.
I have a list of 400 internet creators that get pieces.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
What it's all about.
Chemo was actually amazing for that.
With so much hair.
I'm so sorry for that
really
joke.
solid, really long hairs too. It wasn't just the bits. How I think of this question, because I do think kind of, like I think about the reasons and the ways that power corrupts. One version of it is like power doesn't corrupt, only like corrupt people end up with power. And I think that can totally be a part of it. But I think there is also an amount of when you have some amount of like resources and tools to do things with, you have to make harder choices.
Yeah.
You have to like develop at least a little bit of ruthlessness.
Yeah.
And that can be about protecting yourself. It can be about protecting your family. It can be about accomplishing a goal. It's like, it's just prioritizing. And what ends up happening is like when there is a lot of things on the priority tree, you can end up with some things that are low priorities that are nonetheless like shouldn't be, but have to be. And that ruthlessness feels like it kind of does make me into what I would have formerly seen as kind of a bad person. I sometimes do make decisions or I don't respond to an email from like a really lovely person who sent me a really nice letter that like I potentially could actually help them out with something, but I just have to like say that gets ghosted. Like I just can't add that to my list or I don't even look at it because my assistant is doing that prioritization for me. And I feel like that is kind of like, it is inhuman. Like there is something inhuman about like, you know, society is now like constructed in such a way that like we certainly did not evolve to live in. And so I do see it that way. Does that make any sense to you?
But I mean, that sounds kind of like the same line of thinking of, is it unethical for hospitals to triage?
Right.
Like it's the same, like you're triaging. There's a lot of people who want something for you and you have, or from you, and you have to triage and be like, I can't do that, but I'm going to focus on this thing instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think that the ruthlessness is interesting because sometimes, you know, I can get so anxious about like running a product business and you're like, oh, but what if the products we ship, what if there's an issue we don't know about, or what if somebody gets their package left? And that's the type of ruthlessness you need to adopt of like, but more like we know we're going to do everything we can to make it right. And like trusting yourself in that. But I can feel like, oh, but how can I accept a certain amount of like company collateral damage? But I mean, that's the same of like having to lay somebody off or having to make decisions of like, saying no to things. And it is being in a position where you have more opportunities than you know what to do with.
And more ideas than you can do.
Yeah.
Do you have more ideas than you can do?
Nah.
No? You got the same number of ideas as things that you feel like you could do?
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty, I have like 2 more ideas in my future, but I'm so skittish. You're a lot better about taking on a lot of stuff than I am.
Yeah.
I'm so skittish about taking on things. I'm like, I don't know if we have the bandwidth for that.
The word you were looking for there is worse.
You are worse at saying no to things.
Yeah. It's very hard for me
no.
to like have like an idea sit in front of me and be like, hey, Hank, And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, you know what you could do? This, you could do me. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do is you.
Dude, you're like a serial cheater on your projects.
I am.
You've got a new mistress,
I'm
a new project
man.
manager.
I am. He's making me a worse problem. I'm cheating
like,
on my projects.
I'm not really interested in this old project anymore. I'm going to go to that other hot one. Yeah, the young one that's not worked on yet.
Oh no, that frame makes me very uncomfortable.
I feel like, this is mostly me just trying to justify or like not feeling shame about having the job that I have, because I still have shame. As much as I'm so proud of what I've built, I still have shame about having built this little universe that's all around me and all around what I want, because it feels like that has to be bad in some way. But also...
Everybody leave a comment.
Oh.
We can all be Simone's therapist right now.
But it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Do you feel bad? I mean, I can't even pick out which thing on the list of things you just said you think is bad.
I've built a business where what I want is the most important thing.
Yeah, but it's working, and because it's creating value for people.
Yeah. I think I've noticed that I get a lot more satisfaction out of like trying to build a good workplace for people than I thought I would, and creating a good environment. And I think also one of the nice things about having this job that makes me feel good about it is that you can kind of shine a beacon for other people to gather around.
One of the things when I was sick that I was surprised by, like when I thought I might die, it was very much like, oh no, how much stuff is trapped in me that like I haven't taken the time to get out. Like I haven't taken the time to help other people who have my same job. I have not done enough of that work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I need to do more of that, which I've done more of, but that also I could do more of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like whatever tools can get really trapped inside of a person. And I would love to do what I can to have those tools be in other hands and not just mine.
I just want to sort screws. That's really it.
You could probably make a machine for that, but don't.
Yeah, no. This is fun though. Nah, I feel like other people have been on it.
Yeah. You should just do it yourself.
Yeah. Cool. Are we ready for a new question?
We are. I think we have 2 more left.
Enough morality anxiety of am I a good person? No, there's more. I was in a headspace when I wrote these questions, apparently. Okay. Oh, this one I actually am interested in.
Oh, cool, because I have a pretty good answer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is organic produce a scam?
No. No, I mean, so organic produce is very specifically what it says on the tin, and the thing that is there a way to fix this problem? I've never heard of it.
I do want to look at glasses because I feel like they've looked the same for a very long time, and there has to be a better way of doing it.
Well, they're just going to put a bunch of cameras in them, and that'll be great.
No.
Okay, so organic food cannot use synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. It cannot use sewage sludge fertilizers, which does sound gross. Cannot use genetically modified seeds or growth hormones or antibiotics or drugs unless dealing with the illness of an animal. Can't like preventatively use those things. And that's what they are. That's what they do. And this is a surrogate, of course, for 2 things. It being healthier for the person consuming the food and it being better for the environment. It is an imperfect surrogate. It's not a scam, but it is an imperfect surrogate. There are ways in which you might be surprised to find it is not as good of a surrogate as we would imagine from the nice, pretty, simple word organic. And one of them is it healthier? And it's like, we really cannot tease out an effect if there is one.
Yeah.
So the effect on health is very hard to identify, especially ever in food. Like food is just very hard to study. You can't like strap people down and make them only eat one kind of thing. You're having them report what they eat. But also, most importantly with this is like the people who eat organic food are a certain kind of person, particularly wealthier.
Yeah.
And once wealth gets involved, health, it tracks very tightly with wealth. So that's really hard to tell what's going on there. So we have looked and have not been able to find a very like obvious correlation between people who eat organic produce and who are healthier because of that. As far as environmental impact, this is where there's a bigger thing, but there's like a kind of a give and take here. So just because it says no synthetic fertilizer or pesticides, they still use pesticides and herbicides. They're just different kinds. And some of them are pretty bad for the environment. So copper sulfate is a organic, I think, pesticide, and it's definitely bad for fish, and it washes into streams, and that's not good. So, but like on average, organic pesticides and herbicides tend to last less time in the environment. They tend to be, like a little less scary. They can be better, but like aren't always better. Still wash your organic produce. Some people are like, oh, it's organic. It doesn't have anything on it, but it can.
It just
says like different.
the surface off.
Yeah. I mean, look, Bodies are kind of amazing and they can handle most things. So, but there's like a take here as well, which is that organic farming, not universally, not like, it's not the case for all crops, but organic farming across all crops, if you average it, uses more space per unit, per calorie you get out of that land. And land use is one of the biggest environmental impacts of agriculture. So we want to use less land per the amount of food we're getting off of it. And, the more industrial, traditional agriculture uses less land per unit of food made. And that means that there's more calories for people, though a lot of those calories are going into cows.
And animal feed.
Yeah. But of course, the biggest, weirdest thing that it goes toward is fuel. 40% of the corn in America is turned into ethanol, which is burned in cars and trucks.
Really? 40%?
Yeah.
40.
I like the things that keep like knocking and flooring me is like, I'm worried about a lot of things that probably I should lay off a bit.
Yeah.
For example, 40% of the corn in America, the largest crop in America, that consumes just trillions of gallons of water, literally. Ethanol.
Wow.
Ethanol.
Ah, so sneaky.
It's nuts.
So sneaky.
It's nuts. People talk, water use, man. Water use is very strange. Of course, this is like water being pumped straight from the ground. It's not like municipal water that would otherwise be going to your house.
Yeah.
And so like there's only so much that we can impact with our choices. So the environmental impact of organic crops is relatively small because the impact of food crops is relatively small because most crops go into the mouths of livestock or they go into being turned into fuel. And I just am about to get on. Like I'm close to dying on this hill, like getting on the anti-ethanol train pretty hardcore.
Not the anti-cow one?
The anti-cow one, people will argue with me about it. They're like, but I love beef. And like, it's a cultural flashpoint. Yeah. Nobody gives a shit about burning corn in their car. This doesn't matter to anyone. It's
part
so
of my
dumb.
culture, actually. It's deeply rooted in Swedish culture as we bring Sweden being a huge nation of corn.
There's only one huge nation of corn, thank you very much. Yeah. You cannot take that from us.
No, this is actually, I see you're not very educated on this. No.
I bet America's corn fields are bigger than Sweden. There's gonna be a thing here.
Break up.
Future Hank is gonna tell us whether America's cornfields are bigger than Sweden.
Hello, it's Future Hank. America's cornfields are not bigger than Sweden today. There's something called the USDA 2026 Planting Intentions Report. This is where farmers report to the USDA how much of what crop they're going to plant, and this currently puts the U.S. corn production acreage at 95.3 million acres, which is about 386,000 square kilometers. And Sweden's official land area is about 407 square kilometers. So yes, our enormous corn footprint is a little bit smaller, about 95% of the land area of Sweden. But historically, the US appears to have edged past Sweden at least once. I couldn't find enough data. It does exist, but I couldn't find it. But the USDA noted in a report from 2013 that it was the biggest corn harvest since 1936, which saw 102 million acres planted of corn, which is roughly 413,000 square kilometers, so more than Sweden's land area. So we can and have done it. Now, I was surprised that we planted so much corn back in 1936, but this was one, while corn yields were much lower, like 30%, so we planted way more but got way less. Second, this was before we had a lot of soybean acreage in America, which competes for land with corn, so they use similar land, and there's like way more soybeans being planted in the US than there was back then. And three, there were a lot of horses to feed. So a lot of American farms and some of American transport generally was powered by corn, just like it is now, but in the form of feeding that corn to animals. And now, a caveat. This only works if you compare corn acreage to Sweden's land area. Sweden's total area, which includes inland water, is about 528,000 square kilometers, which is much larger than even the 1936 corn peak. So the cleanest version is this. US corn has at times been larger than Sweden's land area, but not larger than Sweden as a whole. Still, I feel like I gotta give Past Hank some credit for understanding the magnificent scale of US corn.
I mean, that is crazy. I feel like, but once again, it so often comes back to big corporations trying to pin guilt on consumers.
I mean, it also comes down to like farms trying to find ways to market products.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not a terrible thing to do. Like small farms should have ways to differentiate themselves in their practices. They can do things better than big industrial farms. And I think that there's nothing wrong with saying like, this is like organic produce from your local area. But like really the like weird interaction between the US government and the agriculture world and the ethanol world is bonkers and weird and like not long for this world, I think.
Yeah.
It's very silly. It is very impactful and it was sold as like a green innovation and I probably bought it at the time. And it is a bad idea. Corn is wild, man. We're so good at growing corn.
Yeah.
But I don't think that organic produce is a scam. But I do think that in general, when it comes to agriculture, the biggest impacts are outside of our control. And the best thing that you can do is not eat as much meat.
On it.
Okay.
On it. Yeah.
Are you a not meat eater?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like 97% vegan.
Gotcha.
I just sometimes have a croissant or an egg if it's from a hen that I know is moderately happy. Yeah.
There's one more question.
There's one more. Okay. Oh, man.
What?
Past me. We're just getting into it. But this one I am interested in.
This is a great ending after all of what we've been through.
Yeah, there's a lot of introspection and anxiety in this. What are your best tools for managing your feelings? Because I feel like you're a deeply feeling person.
Yeah. So what I do is I look at whatever's causing the feeling and then I make it go away.
Oh, great. Great.
Is the least healthy way.
Which way a lot of friends in Hank's life just mysteriously disappear. Yeah.
Well, if it's a good feeling, I let that thing stay. But the things that are causing, I assume that if I'm managing the feeling, it's one that is not ideal and I don't love and enjoy.
Yeah.
That has for many years worked for me. And so it is something I rely very heavily on.
It's just making the thing disappear?
Yeah, so if like X is causing Y feeling and I don't like Y feeling, I'm not gonna like focus on trying to fix Y feeling. I'm gonna focus on fixing X. And this is like oftentimes like I'm stressed out because I haven't sent this email. So I send the email. And like that's actually like a perfectly legitimate thing to do. And then you scale that all the way to the point where like, oh, there's a bunch of people on the internet mad at you. What are you gonna do about that? And it's like, oh, actually it doesn't work. Like I can't do anything about that. The fire is burning. There's no way to put out the fire. And now I don't have any tools for dealing with that because I've been effective at making feelings go away by dealing with the thing that causes them.
Taking them out and shooting them in the back.
And I know, like an email.
Yeah.
Yeah. My entire inbox, I took it in the yard.
Yeah.
And I said, this has been a fairly productive relationship thus far. I have spent a lot of time with you over the last 20 years, but I do need you to dig a hole in the ground. And you're going to be in it. I have developed tools, though, because I've had to. And I don't tend to use them as much as I should. They are talking to people who think that I have value, regardless of what I do or who, like, I trust them and they think I'm a good person. They are journaling, writing it all down. And they're like thinking large term about what I'm up to, what I'm trying to do, and whether I actually feel good about it.
Yeah.
So like regardless of what other people think, what do I actually feel? Am I making the choices that I think are right? And am I doing the best I can with what I have? And do I probably know more than they do because I'm in my own body and I know what I need and can do? That's kind of how I do it. But that has been honestly like a relatively recent development, some of those things. I
just really, because it's like, especially the feelings where you're like, there's no action I can take to deal with this. As a problem solver, it can be very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the same way? You're like, if the feeling isn't the problem, the thing that's causing it is the problem?
Yeah. And I'll fix that. I'll go to lengths to fix that. I think for me, the things that I cannot fix, the thing that works is just being like, where in my body do I feel this? Like somebody is on the internet is angry with me for something I can't fix. And it's like, where do I feel this in my body? Like try to pinpoint the physical manifestation of it. And then like, does it hurt? Is this a level of discomfort I can live with? And the answer is always yes. You're like, if I'm only thinking about the physical manifestation of this, I can live with this.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, then we do that.
So you like remind yourself that you're a body.
Yeah. Or I think it's just it's like taking the head off of it or like taking it apart or giving it a name. It's like, there's something about just focusing on how it feels physically that makes it less scary. And then because it's like, it's the combination of the thoughts and the feeling that's so potent And if you're like, no, let's strip it of what it actually is. Just like, where do I feel it? I feel it in my throat. I feel it in my chest and a little bit in my stomach. Is this something that's manageable? And then you're like, yeah.
But what about 2 in the morning when you're not in control of your thoughts anymore?
When you don't have any skin, you're just skinless and you're like, I can't deal with anything right now.
It's so wild. It's like all the barriers go down and then your body's like, hey, everything you might have worried about ever in your life, I've got them all lined up here in order by height.
I go pee.
Yeah, I go pee too.
Yeah, it's a good because you're like, I need to bookend this. Oh, we pee. I knew we were friends for a reason. I lay in child's pose in bed.
Oh.
Because I'm also like, I need to get out of a different position and for laying down to feel like a treat.
Okay.
Because you're like, if you're just laying down, then it's like, there's nothing. But I need to do something so that like being like, oh, I can finally lay down again. That helps. I go through categories and think of items in that category of every letter of the alphabet. So it'll be like countries, and I'm like Albania, Belgium.
I thought you were organizing
Canada.
the letters by like, do they look soft or hard?
Oh no.
A's very pointy.
No, that would.
B has bumps.
Yeah, I would be like, I need pen and paper for this. And then just listen to my dog snore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like really frustrated by the fact that if I'm experiencing this, that if I take a deep breath and then I exhale very, very slowly, that it helps. I hate that.
Yeah.
It makes me so mad because like everybody has always told me that if you just do that, it will help.
True. Yeah.
And I've been like, yeah, I'm sure that it will. And then I never did it. And now I do it. And it's like, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
Like it increases the odds that I'm going to fall back asleep within the next 15 minutes by like 75%.
Wait, so how do you do it? You just... We'll see in 15 minutes if you're asleep.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past me.
Yeah. This is the last episode of the season. This is great. But it is, I feel like so much of being a grown-up is just managing your own emotions. And I feel almost like a parent to myself where I'm like, I'm a little bit hungry. Like I'm so cranky. And that is probably because I'm a little bit hungry or I need to do that or I'm overextending myself now. I should take a break. And I have such convincing, strong emotions about things. And I will be like, oh, I need to change this or do that. And then I'm like, I just need to sleep on it first.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is just taking a break before you turn it into action. But it's hard. Yeah. I just wish I could make myself feel less emotions. That sounded sad.
Well, yeah. Well, what sometimes I and I'm sure that they also do, but sometimes I see other people going through the world who have a lot of power. And I'm like, do you just not feel? Do you just like, is you just not like, does the responsibility not sit on you at all? And I'm very confused.
I think that's why they want the power and the money, because they want to feel.
Well, they want to feel, okay.
That's the hole they're filling.
Yeah, we're all filling a hole.
You're magnificent.
Oh.
What a good brain you got on you.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's a thing to say to a guy.
Is
it's
it?
Very sweet.
Yeah. No, I think you're so. I mean, I told you this, but my stepbrother was a big fan of yours, and he was like, "How is he in person? Like, what is he like?" And it was so nice to be able to say, "You are exactly as nice as you hope you'd be."
Oh.
And you really are. I appreciate you a lot.
Well, you haven't seen the what lies in the shadows.
I saw somebody tweeting or whatever, posting, whatever we call it, that I would not follow any spiritual leader until I've seen them spend a week with family. I'll come with you on a family trip with all your extended family, and then I'll let you know if my feelings change.
Yeah, the only thing you would be disappointed by is the number of times I pick up my phone.
Yeah.
But I don't know that you would be surprised by that either.
No, probably not. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my chair home to my workshop.
Okay, don't actually go anywhere. I have to read the outro. Simone, thank you for joining me. And thank you for watching. If you would like to ask me anything, you can do that. You can post a comment down below with a question. I'm going to answer a few of them over the next few days. Also, if you would like to see more of Ask Hank Anything, or you'd like to see more cool things that Complexly is making, you can subscribe at youtube.com/Complexly, which is the YouTube channel that you're probably currently on right now. And if you want to see more from Simone, there's a link to her YouTube and Yetch Studio in the description.
Thanks for watching. You can support Complexly and get bonus videos from Asking Anything and more by going to complexly.org/support. Also, if you want to see more of what we're up to, you can join the Complexly newsletter by visiting complexly.org.